One of the things that I guess is on my heart, one of the
Mm,
messages is just the idea of simplifying the holidays,
yeah.
because it's so easy for things to become too much.
Yeah.
There's
hmm
so much stimulation, there's so much to do, there's so much on the calendar,
hmm
and it ends up being so much that you don't really get to even enjoy and celebrate the things that are most meaningful.
Exactly.
Because busy doesn't always mean productive. It
Good.
doesn't always mean meaningful. It doesn't always mean good. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, how I guess the lessons over the years that have helped me most from other women in my life
Mhm.
is just this idea of a little goes a long way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And our
and
kids
so,
don't remember all of that stuff. There's very little things that they pick out, and those are like the big memories. Although maybe you only
exactly.
spent a couple of minutes on them.
Yes, it's those elements of just stripping things back down to, okay, what is most
Mm,
meaningful for us? And that can
right.
look different for every family, but just starting with that question, like what is most meaningful
That's a
for
good point to
us?
make.
Um,
Definitely.
if there could only be one thing, what would that
Mm,
one thing be?
mhm. Yeah.
What would that one activity be? What would that one food be?
Right, exactly. You
um,
don't have to be baking every day of the
Yes.
month.
And that was a big one for me because we have multiple food allergies. So I cook
Oh,
everything from
yes.
scratch.
That's a lot of
And
cooking.
that's a lot of cooking on a normal day.
Right?
And then you throw the holidays in there.
Oh,
And early on I made the mistake of thinking I needed to replace all of our favorite foods and make it all.
I did the same thing. And yes,
Yes,
it drives you batty.
it
You
does.
can't do it.
And you just spend the whole 3 months in the kitchen. um, and so I had to learn, okay, I had to ask that
Mm,
question. If there was one food, what would it be? And I talked it with
yeah.
my kids and my husband,
hmm
we all kind of thought, what are those foods that mean the holidays to us?
Right. Yeah.
And what we've done is just for us, there's one food per holiday
So
that
what
is
are
just
they?
for
We want
that.
to know.
Yeah. So around Halloween, it's kind of like caramel corn, except we can't do
Mm.
corn and we can't do caramel. So it's
So,
popped sorghum with like this rice syrup that gets caramelized, but it's like
oh,
Cracker
cool.
Jacks.
hmm
So that's Halloween. And then of course November brings everything pumpkin. So
Right.
we do the pumpkin pie. That's
Mm-hmm.
important for us,
Mm-hmm.
and the traditional Thanksgiving foods. And then at
Right.
Christmas, it's Christmas cookies.
Uh,
We could do fudge, we could do all of this thing, but for my kids, it's the Christmas cookies.
and do they have to
And
decorate
so
too?
they enjoy decorating.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's our one big activity, the one thing I focus on making during that
Mm-hmm.
time. And that's really helped me to enjoy it,
Yeah.
to enjoy those moments
Mm-hmm.
rather than just rushing to the next recipe,
Right,
rushing
because
to the
you
next
feel like, okay, I
activity.
checked that off my list. Now I got to get to the next thing, and the kids are like, "Wait, this is good.
Right.
We're gonna enjoy
Yeah.
it together." Mm-hmm.
And then protecting that one thing um, that brings the most meaning to your holidays.
That's a
Um,
very good point. Is it that you don't just do it, but you make sure it gets done.
yeah. And anything
Mm-hmm.
extra is just the icing on the cake kind of. It's just,
Right. Mm-hmm.
but you got the one thing that was most meaningful and it got done
Mm-hmm.
and you got
And
to
yeah.
enjoy it and
Mm-hmm.
celebrate it.
Like
So
that.
identifying what was most meaningful. And then another lesson that I've had to learn over the years and relearn a few times is creating margin, creating the space for the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
because holidays mean more. And so if I'm trying to cram more
Right.
into an already busy life,
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be things that have to get canceled to make room for the holidays. There are going to be things that I have to say no to make space for the
Oh, yeah.
meaningful aspects of the holidays. So even from an everyday perspective, stripping down.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So for
definitely.
instance, I arrange our entire school year so that I can have the month of December off from homeschool. I
Yeah.
don't homeschool in December. Like Thanksgiving hits and then we're done because it all begins. And I want my focus to be where it
Right.
needs to be.
Yeah, we've always done like if we have done school, it's been unit studies, and so it's always been around the school schedule, and
Mm-hmm.
so that it has really helped with my anxiety
Yeah.
of feeling like, okay, now I got to get this done and that done, and yeah, and so this year I'm teaching my daughter how to bake because she really has not
Yes.
like gotten into cooking with me.
Mm-hmm.
She's realizing how much muscle strength it takes to stir things.
Yeah.
She was like getting tired stirring frosting today, and I'm like, just keep going, you'll do it. But yeah, so yeah, definitely, prioritizing that, and that's a very good point.
Because there,
I'm sorry, I've also
go
been
ahead.
stripping down our schedules and just
Yeah.
touching on those one or two key things that I know need to keep going so we don't lose those skills, but not doing everything that we had been
Mm-hmm.
doing previously.
Right.
Right. Yep.
And the holidays, again, they provide so much opportunity for some of these other
Definitely.
skills, some of these other character building lessons, your random acts of kindness, your homemade gifts, there's so many
Yeah.
lessons that
There,
are
there
naturally part of
are.
the holidays. So even when we eliminate homeschool, we're not eliminating learning. There's
Right.
still a
Right.
lot going on.